Minister Professor Kindiki, welcome to the House of Parliament. You have the distinction of being the first minister under the new dispensation to appear before this House to answer questions raised by members of Parliament. You are welcome. You are the only minister appearing today. We have 5 questions, 4 ordinary questions, and 1 question by private notice. I will start with the question by private notice by the member for Chuka Ingambangombe, Patrick Ndwiga Munene, who is not in the chamber, but has written to Mr. Speaker delegating Honorable Benjamin Gadiru to ask the question on his behalf. I hope, Benjamin, you'll be able to handle any supplementaries that flow therefrom.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I like to ask question number. I like to ask question by private notice. Number 005/2023 by the Honorable Member for Chuka Igabangombe, Honorable Patrick Munene, MP for Chuka Igabangombe. I wish to say that he is still in the constituency because of the same.
That has already been communicated to Mr. Speaker. Just ask the question.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Just say, I beg to ask question this number on behalf of so-and-so who is not available in the House today.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to ask the question on behalf of Honorable Munene, Chuka Igabangombe MP. No, it's here. The member had requested the statement. Where is it? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The honorable member wished to ask a question. Could the cabinet secretary explain, number 1, the circumstances that led to the killing of Mr. Daniel Mutembei on 18th of March 2023 in Nkwego village within Rubate location, Tharaka-Nithi County, which was reported to the police under OB number 7/19/03/2023. Roman 2. Could the cabinet secretary indicate whether the perpetrators of the criminal act have been apprehended since the Rocos thereafter staged demonstration against police inaction in arresting the suspects? Roman 3. Could the cabinet secretary state the measures in place to protect the application in the criminal application number E007 of 2023 filed in the High Court of Kenya in Chuka from threats of impending arrest without formal charges being preferred against them, and the threats to their lives leading to them to be immobile and unable to be united with their families? Roman 4. Could the cabinet secretary state the circumstances that led to the fatal shooting of the chairperson of Boda Boda operators allegedly by a police officer during the said demonstration on 18th of March 2023, and clarify whether police officer has been identified, arrested, and charged? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank you for the warm welcome and to congratulate Parliament on the adoption of the new standing orders that allows cabinet secretaries to appear before the House and answer questions raised by members of Parliament directly. Honorable Speaker, sir, the member for Chuka Igamba Ng'ombe has asked the circumstances that led, he has asked for an explanation of the circumstances that led to the killing of Mr. Daniel Mutembei on 18th March 2023 in Kwego Village, Rubate location, Tharaka Nithi County, which was reported by police on the following day, 19th of March 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, on 18th of March 2023, a Mr. Leonard Njeru Mbuba from Rubate location reported that his cousin, Daniel Mutembei, a male adult, approximately 34 years, had been attacked the previous night by known people, according to the report, severely and critically injured, left for the dead, rained on for the rest of the night, recognized by villagers early in the morning who were taking milk to the collection point, still alive early in the morning. Mr. Speaker, although critically injured, it was reported that Mr. Mutembei was able to talk and identified those that attacked him and gave their names, 5 suspects. He was taken to hospital, but the injuries were already too much and he succumbed at the Chuka Referral Hospital. He succumbed to the injuries. That report was made and entered into the OB. Mr. Speaker, sir, and just for the clarity of the member and the House, that report was made the same morning of 19th March 2023. Investigations ensued, and before any statements could be taken from any of the suspects, the same suspects went to the Chuka High Court and obtained anticipatory bail, restraining their arrest and prosecution until the matter is heard and determined, or until further orders were issued by the High Court. Those orders, Mr. Speaker, sir, were issued by Lady Justice Lucy Gistari of the Chuka High Court on 27th of March 2023, and the order specifically restrained the police from arresting the said persons. The orders also required that the matter be heard today, the 12th of April 2023. Today, the matter was came up for mention, and Mr. Speaker, I can report to the House that in the morning the parties were heard, and I can also report to the House, Mr. Speaker, that for us in the ministry, we instructed the State Council to represent those parties that against whose orders were given, including the Inspector General of Police, the DCI, and all those who were sued. The family of the victim, the late Mutembei, also had hired a lawyer this morning, and both Mr. Mutembei's lawyer and the State Council made a very, very strong argument in an oral application for two things. One, the vacation of the anticipatory bail, which was lapsing today, that it should not be extended. And two, warrants of arrest to issue against the suspects. And both the deceased lawyer and the State Council were on one page, of course, against the opposition from the Defense Council. The ruling on this matter is before the judge this afternoon at 2:30, the same time that the minister is appearing before this House. In between, Mr. Speaker, on Saturday, the 8th of April, which is Easter Saturday, the victims were supposed to bury the late Mutembei, but they felt that this matter had taken too long and could not understand why a matter where there was, in their view, overwhelming evidence pointing at the killers should still be out there. And notwithstanding the anticipatory bail, they demanded that the arrest be done. There was a serious demonstration for most of the afternoon on Saturday, from 3 p.m. to well into the night. They were carrying the coffin of the late Mutembei and demonstrated the whole afternoon, engaging the police in running battles. The police tried to talk to them diplomatically to bury the deceased as we wait for the finalization of the matter by way of appearance before court today, but they could hear none of it. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the protesters engaged police in throwing missiles when the police tried to use tear gas, and it was really a very, very rowdy protest. And of course, one would understand the public anger given the circumstances which the deceased had died. Mr. Speaker, sir, the police were able to open the road much later in the night, but an incident occurred around 7 p.m. the same night. One of the local young leaders, the chairperson of the Tharaka Nithi Border Association, one Willis Mugambi, alias Kiraku, was shot dead in the chest around 7 p.m. and died on the spot. And that complicated the matter. And immediately that happened the same night, we dispatched through the Inspector General of Police the Internal Affairs Unit of the National Police Service from Nairobi. The head of the Internal Affairs Unit actually was dispatched the same night to Chuka to travel there and personally take over the investigations, mainly the investigations around the shooting of Willis Mugambi, alias Kiraku, because it was alleged again by some who made reports that they suspected that he could have been killed by a police officer in the process of the riots. So we dispatched the Internal Affairs Unit. It's still there. We have crucial evidence, and we believe very shortly we'll be narrowing down to the person who shot and killed Mr. Mugambi. At the same time, the Independent Police Oversight Authority the following day on Sunday dispatched their team to investigate that incident. IPOA is independent. So while the internal investigations by the police is handled by the Internal Affairs Unit from Nairobi. The IPOA team also from Nairobi is handling an independent investigation so that there are no perceptions of internal collusion or preference whatsoever. The two teams are working, and I am told a lot of progress has been made, but up to now, the conclusion, the investigations are not concluded. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, in between, we have reinforced security presence. As late as last night, there were incidents of, again, a few youths trying to block roads. And we have deployed the regional police commander, Mr. Rono Bunei from Embu for Eastern Region. He's the one personally dealing with that matter because, again, there were aspersions cast at our officers who are based in Chuka. Both the officer commanding Chuka Police Station and the county commander for Tharaka Nithi County. I can report, Right Honorable Speaker, that as we speak, in the meantime, we felt that in order to build public confidence in our officers, the Inspector General of the National Police Service has transferred both the OCS of Chuka Police Station and the County Police Commander of Tharaka Nithi, and new officers have been put in place already as we speak. So that's where we are, Mr. Speaker. We do not have any conclusive evidence. I want to assure the House that, one, we will respect the outcome of the court decision regarding the anticipatory bail, which we have opposed through the State Council. Once that bail is, anticipatory bail is lifted, and based on the evidence we have, all suspects are going to be rounded up in minutes. But we cannot violate a court order, and we really hope that our case will be favored by the judge this afternoon to allow us continue with the justice process beyond the point it is at the moment. With regard to the killers of Mr. Kiraku, the Boda Boda chair, again, we believe in the next few days, we will be able to have enough evidence to help us take action, including prosecution of the suspect. I think, Honorable Speaker, that is all I have up to now. I remain at the disposal of this House for any supplementary issues, and also with regard to the other questions that are listed in the order paper this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Major Dong, do you have any supplementary to that on behalf of your colleague?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would say that thanks to the Cabinet Secretary for answering the same question, and having originated from the same county, I believe the Cabinet Secretary understands well, and he will be able to deal with that matter conclusively. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That is a comment, Minister. You need not answer. Morugara. Now, those who want to ask supplementaries, you go to interventions, and I'll give only 3.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, the Cabinet Secretary, for that response. But I do have a supplementary question on behalf of the family of the late Willis Mugambi Kiraku as follows. What measures will the government put in place to ensure that the family of the late Willis Mugambi Kiraku, the Boda Boda chairman Tharaka Nithi, who was fatally shot on the 8th of April 2023, is properly, sufficiently, and adequately compensated for the loss of their kin without undue delay? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister, you note the 3 supplementaries that will follow each other, then you answer. Robert Mbui.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Having been a victim of police violence, I think it's important to ask this because I know forensic evidence can show the gun that shot the bullet that killed that young boda rider, and also very many young boys and girls who were killed during the recent demos. I just wanted to confirm from the CS, are shoot-to-kill orders the acceptable by this regime of Kenya Kwanza that you serve? And do the police bosses understand the Constitution and the right of Kenyans to be able to picket under Article 37? Thank you.
The Honorable Pauline Lenguris, Samburu Women Rep.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I want to conjoin my question to the Minister, and I want to thank him for the response, and want to request him that the killing of young innocent people has become rampant in this country. A case in point are also the killings that are brought about by the bandits. Every day, we are losing two people every day in the presence of security officers. I want to base my case in Samburu, for example, just related to that case, because killing is just a killing. We are losing people every day. And the minister is aware, I'm sure, is being briefed every day that people are being killed by the bandits who come to displace people in their homes. They are killing in the presence of the security officers who are there, the army, the GSU, the police. So we are wondering, what are these security officers doing when innocent people are being killed each and every day? We have lost properties. In 2 months, in Samburu, for example, we have lost 30 young men and 1 middle-aged woman. We cannot continue in this trend, Mr. Professor Kindiki. Please do something. And if the security officers are overpowered by the bandits, tell us, then we will plan ourselves to deal with them properly. Thank you.
The last supplementary minister I'll give for Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Just as a follow-up to the question originally asked by Mr. Honorable Munene, Mr. Minister, Bwana Waziri, I must really appreciate the speed with which your ministry dispatched the Internal Affairs Unit and indeed the IPOA to carry out investigations on the fatal shooting of Mr. Mugambi in Chuka. Mr. Speaker, we have similar, more or less similar cases that have happened in the recent past. A case in point is the fatal shooting of a third-year Maseno University student, William Mayenga, in Maseno University by the police on the 20th, I think, of March this year. The second incident is the killing by being run over by a police vehicle of police officer Ben Oduor of Nyamira, or of Keroka Police Station, Nyamira County. Bwana Waziri, could you confirm to the August House if you have similarly, in those instances, dispatched the Internal Affairs Unit to carry out investigations? And if so, what is the progress of those investigations? What is the status of those investigations? Or could we be seeing a case of double standards, application of the law differently in different situations, in different parts of the country, and concerning different communities? 2, is it now a policy of the Kenya Police Service to quell riots by use of live bullets? Is the old policy of using rubber bullets now discarded? And if so, when did this change in policy occur? And for whose benefit? Thank you.
Minister, there is a member, Honorable Kamren, who says that if he doesn't ask a supplementary, it will not be good for him today. I'll give him a minute, then you can answer the 5 questions.
Asante Bwana Speaker. nataka nichukue nafasi hii Spika